It's Man Movie.
It's Man Movie.
And today we watched another classic film.
Classic.
We really don't do anything but watch classic films. We don't watch unclassic films.
No.
We don't watch bullshit non-man movies.
No.
This is Man Movie, where we watch classic films that pertain to manhood.
Any of these could star on American movie classics.
Any of them. Any of them. And tonight we watched a classic film of masculinity on display, starring the incomparable Nicolas Cage. This was Nick Cage, I would say, in his prime.
I would say too.
We didn't watch The Rock. We didn't watch Face Off, although both of those would have qualified. Instead, we watched Con Air. Excellent movie.
Great movie. Jerry Bruckheimer.
At
his best.
When Jerry Bruckheimer is involved with the film, you can bet dollars to donuts there's going to be some car chasing. There's going to be some guns firing.
Explosions. Rapists.
Raping.
Up, Bishop. I'll be Johnny 24.
Punching people in the face.
Uh-huh.
Don't treat women like that.
Car chases. I already said car chases. Explosions.
Well, just more car chases.
More car chase. You can never have too many.
There's going to be more than one car chase
Yeah.
in a Jerry Bruckheimer film.
Nicolas Cage plays a man who just got back from a deployment overseas. I don't know if he was in Iraq. I don't know if he was in Afghanistan. Some Middle Eastern country that was...
The military man.
Fighting a just war.
Yeah.
For a just cause. Helping people, the locals, deal with evildoers.
Yes. Bringing freedom.
Yeah, teaching them about the American way.
Yes, bringing freedom to a people in desperate need.
Yes. Now, he's back home. He's reunited with his wife after a period of time.
Meanwhile, it's like, okay, yeah, he's back home. He was just deployed, and then he, like, kisses her belly, like, mwah, like, my sweet little angel. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
That's inside the belly. She has no belly. So it's like, okay, how long was this deployment? Yeah. It was either 2 weeks, 2-week deployment, or this chick she's got the smallest baby ever.
Well, she probably just recently got pregnant.
Why didn't they give her a little belly? What are they doing?
But then again, if he was overseas, how is she going to be recently pregnant?
Well, the problem is she wouldn't have been a hot piece of you-know-what.
Right.
If she had a belly. And Jerry Bruckheimer, he knows. She's got to be a good-looking gal. We can't have her.
Well, okay.
Can't have her in the in the motherly way.
I would imagine that Nick Cage had some AWOL, or not AWOL. He had some he had a vacation time or something. He flew back from Iraq to impregnate his wife. Flew right back.
Yeah.
Killed a bunch of evildoers.
Then
he comes back.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, he's done with his deployment. He's honorably discharged. He meets up with his wife, who works as a waitress at a bar somewhere in the South.
Yeah, it's got Southern written all over it.
And she's...
Do we even know that he's deployed, or are we making this up?
No, maybe there was a montage of, like, Middle Eastern tanks and gunfire happening.
At the very beginning?
At the very beginning, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's absurd, then.
Why?
That he shows up and she's got a 2-week pregnant belly. She's so not showing that I don't even think she would get the test to go like, am I pregnant? That's how little showing she is.
She's pregnant. He impregnated his wife. We know that. She's not showing because she's got great genetics and because he recently impregnated her. And now he's back. He's done with the military.
He's ready to raise his daughter.
Settle down with his wife, get a civilian job.
Everything's going to plan.
But there's some losers, some local boys who frequent the bar, some regulars, and they want his wife. And they see this G.I. Joe, Uncle Sam, Captain America fuckface. This guy thinks he's, a big shot just because he's promoting freedom all over the world and protecting the United States from future terrorists. Meanwhile, we're less than this guy just because we sit around at this...
Because I drink at a bar all day?
Yeah, just because we sit here lusting after married pregnant women?
Yeah.
He's better than us?
He ain't.
He ain't. We don't know a lot about his military career, but we do know that his hands are registered lethal weapons.
Tanner, let's go home. Just get in the car.
He gets into a scuffle with these guys. He doesn't start trouble, but he ends it.
He shoved the guy's nose into his skull.
He pressed this guy's nose into his brain at the point where he killed a man. He killed a man.
Did they say his hands were registered lethal weapons or just lethal weapons?
I'm inferring that they were registered. I don't know that they were. But the judge made it clear that because of his military training, he's held to a higher standard than the average person who kills a guy in a bar fight.
I can relate to this. So I think I might go down to the police station tomorrow and say, listen, I need to register a weapon.
These hands are dangerous. I can't be walking around with these hands unregistered.
You see this?
Mm-hmm. Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
We should watch Lethal Weapon, by the way. That's a great movie.
Lethal Weapon. And you knew it was a dramatic scene because it was raining.
Rain is always a great way to express dramatism.
Absolutely.
This is the preamble to the movie. The credits are rolling. We get into a montage of him serving out his 5 years in prison.
He's doing push-ups.
Or whatever it was. He grows his hair long and cool.
Yeah, he's biding his time.
He's sitting there every day doing his push-ups, doing his sit-ups, doing his pull-ups, not raping anybody. 5 years or
he serves his
more
time.
or less. He serves his time. Now he's being released, and him and his cellmate, coincidentally, are also being released, right, at the same time?
Yeah, Bubba.
Bubba, the guy who played Bubba in Forrest Gump, is his cellmate. He's being released, but he has to take a plane ride to some other place where he's actually officially released.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on this plane, he's probably the only guy who's about to be released. Everybody else on this plane, it's the worst of the worst. We're talking about serial killers, serial rapists.
Him and Bubba are the only
Him and
good
Bubba
dudes.
are the only dudes who, we don't know what Bubba did, but they're the only moral dudes who are just trying to keep their head down and serve their time. Everybody else, it's the worst of the worst. Maximum security for a reason.
And who's the worst of the worst of the worst?
Cyrus.
Fucking Virus.
Cyrus the Virus.
He's almost a Bond villain.
Yeah, he's like a brilliant, evil genius.
And you know he's brilliant because he's played by John Malkovich.
John Malkovich, yeah. A brilliant actor playing a brilliant master criminal.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Cage, Bubba, and an entire plane full of shitheads, including John Malkovich, load up into what we refer to as Con Air.
He's kind of just tagging along in a flight to get to his wife. He's already out. He's done. He's served his time.
Yeah, he's basically a free man.
He's done. Oh, yeah, this is it. That's why when he steps outside, the sunshine hits his face, and you just see him smile. And
he's going to meet his wife. He's going to meet his daughter.
Life's good.
Life is good.
Life is good.
But he's just got to get through this plane ride, and then he's free, right? Little does he know, John Malkovich has smuggled a needle into the skin of his hand. He uses that to pick the locks on his handcuff. Then he frees some of his other cohorts. They take over the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And the only one who can bring this plane down is the man whose hands are registered lethal weapons.
That's true, but he has to play the situation wisely because he knows, okay, my hands are registered lethal weapons, but, they still have guns, so I can't just go punch a few people in the face and, my lethal weapons, I'll kill a few of them, sure, but there's like 12 of these guys.
Yeah.
They'll kill me eventually.
He has to play it cool.
He's got to play it
He's
cool.
got to pretend
So
he's one of the guys. He's got to pretend he's one of the convicts.
He's really this really sweet, good dude who doesn't want to see that lady get raped by Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
But he's got to act like, hey, listen, I'm fine with rape.
He intervenes and stops that lady from being raped, but he's like, hey, man, we can't waste our time raping here. We got to focus on the mission.
Yeah.
He can't say, I'm against rape. He's like, look, I like rape as much as the next guy, but we've got a bigger mission at hand
We
here.
got stuff to do.
We can't rape all day. Otherwise, we're never going to fly off to Ecuador and find our freedom.
Exactly.
Where were they going? I don't know if it was Ecuador. It was somewhere in South America.
Yeah, they were going. I think they were going to Mexico, I believe.
Maybe just Mexico.
Yeah.
Fact one, we got a plane up there filled with killers, rapists, and thieves, and we got this guy Cameron Poe. In on an involuntary manslaughter beef, non-gang affiliated. He's a parolee hitching a ride home. Fact two.
The other hero of the movie, played by John Cusack, I don't know what his job was. He was like in charge of Con Air somehow.
It was his mission, his plane.
He was a cop who, he kept saying, this is my plane.
This is my plane. This is my mission. I don't know what he did either. And then there was another guy who was at odds with him.
Yeah. There was some inter-department police bureaucracy going on between John Cusack and some other guy who you've seen in a bunch of movies. And
some hothead.
We don't know his name.
Yeah, you have a good cop, bad cop situation.
Good cop, bad cop. Eventually, John Cusack meets up with Poe.
Can I lower this?
Go ahead.
You gonna lower yours?
Sorry, boss, but there's only two men I trust. One of them's me, the other's not you.
Who's the other one he trusts?
I don't know.
His dad?
I would think his dad, maybe.
We never find out who that other man is.
What do you want to do with him?
I don't know, but this is no way to treat a national treasure. Let him out.
You sure?
Love your work.
Steve Buscemi was a Jeffrey Dahmer type of a character. He's like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter. He's got like the mask. Yeah. He's chained.
They're all like scared of him as he's like strapped in. It's like, you don't need to be scared. He's locked up, and the guards are like nervous. Oh, meanwhile he's like 120 pounds soaking wet.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
I got my insulin right, but they broke all the damn needles. And if I don't get my shot in the next couple of hours, somebody gonna be sending flowers to my mother.
Nicolas Cage has an opportunity to leave the plane. And when they're refueling or switching planes. But because his good buddy Bubba is a diabetic and he needs an insulin shot, Nicolas Cage, who's a man who...
He doesn't leave a man behind.
He does not leave a man behind. Even though he could easily get off the plane and go live out his life with his wife and daughter, he takes his responsibilities seriously, which is really why, more than anything, I think this is a man movie. Because men, we're taught, we can't just make a promise and then, screw off. We have to follow through.
You gotta have integrity.
You gotta live by a code.
Yeah.
Malkovich, he knows that one of the one of the convicts knows how to fly planes, so he puts this guy in charge of flying the plane to Mexico. But they end up having to make a landing on the Las Vegas Strip, of all places. And then it's just chaos. They convicts are going every which way. Nicolas Cage gets out of the plane. Him and John Cusack commandeer a couple of motorcycles. They're chasing John Malkovich. John Malkovich, Cyrus the Virus, somehow ends up on a rock quarry that is in the universe of this film exists on the Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
They capture him.
One of the most bizarre death scenes I've ever seen.
Somehow, yeah, he goes through a couple of windows on an overpass across the strip. Lands in a rock quarry. And then a rock crusher falls and crushes the skull.
Yeah, he died like 5 different ways. He got electrocuted. He fell from a height. He got crushed by a rock crusher.
He was electrocuted from power lines, and that wasn't enough.
He ran into an overhang. Just 10 things happened. It was like a Rube Goldberg series of chain events that led to his ultimate death.
Right.
And then, when all is finally said and done,
when all of this business is taken care of, he reunites with his formerly pregnant wife. He meets his 5-year-old daughter. For the first time, he gives her the stuffed bunny.
Oh, yeah, that shitty stuffed bunny.
The shitty stuffed bunny that he bought with like 3 Marlboro cartons.
Yeah. Yeah, and I doubt she appreciated it. She was probably like, ew.
She's like, ew, what's this disgusting bunny?
It smells bad.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's convict blood all over this stuffed bunny. Even if it risked his ultimate demise, he put his life at risk. His wife and daughter may have grown up without a husband and father, but he had to make sure that this convict Bubba got his insulin shot.
Yeah.
The very final scene, the epilogue in Las Vegas, Steve Buscemi is sitting at a blackjack table.
Yeah.
He escaped from Con Air. Nobody noticed that the greatest serial killer of our time just happened to tiptoe away from the plane. Nicolas Cage really had tunnel vision in this movie.
He really did.
Whatever was right in front of him, he had to deal with it.
Yeah.
Everything else didn't matter.
At some point, he just goes, okay, I'm done.
He can only stop the criminals that are right in front of him at any given time. He's not Superman.
No, yeah. And I'm just saying he should have had that logic on day one, and they wouldn't have had to make the movie.
On day one, he shouldn't have killed those guys in a bar fight.
Yeah. We could have had a first act, and then it's over. Roll credits.
Maybe the message of this movie is really walk away from trouble. I mean, look, you got to defend...
Is it worth it?
You got to defend your wife. You got to defend your child. But if it's a matter of ego, if it's just some guys, some locals in a bar talking shit, you can walk away. You can let them have their moment where they feel big about themselves.
Yeah,
you don't have to press their nose into their brain.
And let Bubba die. Let him die.
We don't know why
he's a
Bubba...
diabetic. He ate a bunch of cheesecake throughout his life. That's his problem.
Not everything is our problem, all right? Sometimes as a man, you have to calculate, look, do I want to risk my family's future so that I can prevent Bubba from falling into a diabetic coma on an airplane to Arizona? Or do I want to just hedge my bets and do the best I can?
It's called cost-reward analysis.
I mean, we're putting our own morality into this. The movie Con Air says that you should save everybody in your perimeter.
Yeah, only
you should risk
your tunnel vision,
your family's future to save some dude that you shared a cell with for 5 years. That's not what we're saying. Maybe Jerry Bruckheimer thinks that's how you should behave as a man. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if Lyle agrees with that. But, as men, we don't always agree with each other on every little detail.
That's fine.
Now, Nicolas Cage, he had a clear morality. He had a moral code. He lived by it. He did what he felt was right. And I'd expect you to do what you feel is right. I'm going to do what I feel is right. Lyle's going to do what he feels is right. And God bless us all. One thing is damn certain. Con Air was a man movie.
Absolutely. Definite man movie.
God bless us all for watching it.